dedicated to each and every one of you who appreciate a great glass of wine. You know what I mean?
It's Monday. Let's raise a glass to the beginning of another week. It's time to unscrew, uncork, or saber a bottle. And let's begin exploring the wine glass. Madeleine Albright once said, "It took me quite a long time to develop a voice, and now that I have it, I am not going to be silent." My guests on today's podcast are mompreneurs with 9 children between them, and they refuse to stay silent. The two best friends love sipping wine, traveling, and empowering women. Together, they created She Wines.
Wine.
Hey everybody, I'm Lori Budd, a UC Davis winemaking program, someday service, champagne specialist, and WSET Level 2 graduate. You can find Exploring the Wine Glass on all the socials, as well as your favorite podcast catchers. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to swipe, subscribe, rate, and review. I promise I'll never tell you what to drink, but I'll always share what's in my glass. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Allure of the Poor, sponsored by Dracaena Wines. I am so happy to be here with you today, and today I am sharing something new, and I'm pretty excited about it because it is a new wine label that I'm kind of interested to find out exactly what it is all about. So the wine label is called She, and I have Jennifer and Tabitha with me today, who are the lovely ladies behind this label. So let's start off with a little introduction of yourselves. So I don't know who wants to go first, but
Wow. Well, thank you, Jennifer. Hey, hello, how are you guys? I am so excited to be here, Lori. It just seems like yesterday we met in Paso Robles, and here I am on your show. My name is Tabitha Cole, and first I am a mother, and a mother of 4, and I am a wife. I'm shaking off these nerves. But I am a certified chef, and I guess my passion has always been culinary and wine. Early on, my mother's a big wine connoisseur, and she's the one who introduced me to wine first, and I'm very, very close with my mother. So to just get it started, here I am with my first private wine label with my bestie, Jen, and we just want to change the way people view the wine industry. So it's just kind of more or less of a bridge or a gap between the industry. So what could I say?
And hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer Oglesby, and I'm here with my bestie, Tab. And we created She Wines. So I'll give you a background on myself first and then tell you why we created She Wines. So I'm a mom of 5. I had 4 biological boys. So you can imagine I needed a little princess in the house. So in 2020 of December, we adopted our little angel, Chloe. And I used to be an educator, and then I moved into adult residential facilities. And so I have 2 in California here in Pomona and Covina. And so I house adults with autism.
Oh, that's so nice.
So, and that all kind of generated, my oldest son, who's 17, has autism. And so that's why we sort of wanted to reach out to other moms, and we got into the wine industry, and we were able to connect with other moms that have autistic kids. So it's been just like a godsend ever since we started.
That is wonderful. I have to say, special needs children are very near and dear to me. We have a family that is like my second family, and their eldest child is special needs, and he's like my brother. They're my brothers and sisters or whatever. And so throughout all growing up, it's just special needs is near and dear to me, because every time I see somebody with special needs, it honestly just reminds me of James and just puts a smile on my face. That's so amazing. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that. So as Tabitha said, we actually met in Paso. We were bottling on the same day. So we ran into each other, and, sometimes the stars all aligned to make things happen. So it took a little while for us to get together, but I'm so glad it happened. So let's start off with the name She, and on the label it says, she is extraordinary. So tell us a little bit about how you came up with this name and the meaning behind it.
Okay, so 2019, we always travel and obviously try different wines from across the world. With that being said, it's always our back passion. 2019 was a tough year for me, and even leading into the beginning of 2020. Just feeling as a mompreneur, stay-at-home mom, full-time. The pandemic hit, we're schooling at home now. It just felt like I needed a breakthrough. And it was like an epiphany for me to get with Jen and say, you know what, we need to take a trip to Napa. Just get away. And it kind of closed in March and it reopened back in July. We took a trip there, and it just dawned on us that we were going to start our own wine brand, something that we always wanted to do. Not only that, we wanted to connect with other women and start an empowerment. So thus came the name She Wines. It's an empowerment brand, and it's about the everyday woman, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are a working mom, 9 to 5, with children, or maybe you don't have children. You're trying to, do the best that you can do, and it just sometimes feel like you're stuck. You just hit a rock bottom. I was very depressed, and I just felt like, what can I do to uplift my spirits? And that's when we thought of She Wines. We could pretty much my notes here, because it's really hard for me to remember.
But I should tell her. Let me tell you a funny story though behind it. So Tab was at home, and like she said, all of these different things were going on. So it was her emotions. I'm running 2 facilities. I have 5 kids, so it's all of this going on. Pandemic, they were at home. So I was a full-time teacher. I'm running 2 facilities, Tabs at home, going through all of this. And so I remember stepping into the backyard of one of my facilities. We're on the phone. We're by this time, we probably had talked for like an hour. And I remember we were going back and forth, and we're like, we need a name. We came up with a gazillion names, and we were like, well, we want to empower women. We want women like us. We want women with kids. We want women that have been depressed, that have gone through this, no matter what your road was in life. And we were like, and I remember Tab saying something like, we want it to be like, she is bold. And I'm like, she. Then we start speaking on the phone together. We're like, she. Yeah. It was so funny. Yeah.
It just made so much sense.
It made sense, right? And so after that, it was like, we were like, this is it. And then we had our whole, like our entire business plan. It literally just like flowed out after that. So it was an amazing beginning venture. And now, I mean, we went from the bottle that you actually have to this now.
Now, I was going to bring that up because, like I said, I always do a little trolling, and I came across, you had a label competition. So to design that. So tell us about how you went about that, because I thought that was kind of cool. We had a label competition because in 2020, we lost our fruit due to the smoke taint. So we had to pivot. I hate saying that word now, but we had to pivot and think of something. And we are doing an extended aged Cabernet Franc, but it's got to be a different label because of what it's going to be. So we ran a contest with our club members in order to do it. And we had our club members design one, and we came up with the winning label, which they're going to get 6 bottles of wine as their award. But yours was like, this company runs competitions for people, right? So tell us about that.
So we wanted to create a new label. One of the things that we did with this label was just kind of plain. So we were like, not really, it doesn't speak out to like who we are. It didn't represent who we were and other women. So we both love, side note, we both love Beyonce. And so we wanted everything that we do within our brand. We wanted other women to have the opportunity to always work for us, to sort of go in and do the competition. So it was a women-led competition. And do you remember her name on there?
Oh my God.
So we were going back and forth, but they did every person that created something for She Wines did an amazing job. And this is what we ended up with. So
I love it.
Represents us.
I feel like it represents us. We're first Black women right here. And we have a dream to empower all women,
Yes.
but we got to recognize those who are sometimes left out with less opportunities for others. Other than She Wines, we're talking about taking this on the road, speaking to women, talking about survival, phenomenal women that wear different hats, the girl next door, all around. We want to empower all women, and we especially have to point out our sisterhood, our Black women who, like I said, sometimes are left behind. The minority women are left behind. We want to create opportunities. My daughter looked at this label and she was so amazed, and that was a moment for me to feel proud because she'd never seen such representation of Black women before on not that many things, but especially something like this. She sees me drinking wine. She knows, like, I'm drinking wine, but she's never seen nothing like this. So when I showed her, she was just like, "Mama, this looks like you." And I just felt like that was very important and dear to our brand to start off with a representation of us.
And we feel it's important because, now it's just to kind of like, I guess, open up a space. We know we have, the McBride sisters and other sisters and different women that are out there, but we wanted to do something locally. We wanted to show other moms that, they may have the same dream or the same passion, that, just believe in whatever idea you have and just kind of go out there and do it. And I'm fortunate to have Tab because we held each other accountable the whole time. She's like, "Stop working on your other thing." And I'm like, "Stop cooking for so many people. We have to." So we were going back and forth, but it worked. And so we want to kind of just get out there and speak to women everywhere and just share our stories and, how life and how we became with She Wines and all the good things that are behind it.
So now you said that you went to decompress in Napa, but you actually ended up in Paso. So I personally think Paso is the place to be. Obviously, we think that's where to be.
Yes.
But how did you end up in Paso and get your fruit? And tell us how Paso entered your picture.
Well, first off, it's local. It's just a 3.5 hour ride, 4 hours maybe. It's local, it's new, growing and developing. I think that's really what stuck out. Napa is already established and everybody knows about Napa. A lot of people who I spoke to before our trip did not even know about Paso Robles. I barely just learned, to be truthfully transparent, about Paso Robles about 1.5 years ago. So to me, it was very important. And it just was just like common sense. It was just like, ding, that light that stuck on.
Right.
Fastest growing in the region, local climate and the soil. It's really well for growing wine, grapes and wine. That's producing wine. So it just made so much sense to try it. And we stumbled across a very good vineyard, which all about, Pacific Wine Services.
Right. Okay. So that was my next question. How did you said you stumbled upon Pacific Wine Services. Where is your fruit actually coming from? So you have this rosé and you have a Merlot. So where is the fruit physically coming from?
Both fruits were from Paso Robles, and Merlot was bottled and produced at Pacific Wine Services, grown there and produced there and harvested there.
Okay, all right. So what made you decide Merlot and a rosé?
Rosé is my favorite wine right now. I'll tell you a little quick story about my son who's graduating next year from France. Oh my God. Well, my son is Xavier Lewis, and he goes to the School of Fashion and Design. And when I went there in 2016, we took a 2-hour trip to Italy. We stayed there for days and I had the rosé. for the first time. And for the whole entire vacation, this is what was my go-to. So I fell in love with it. The little bit of acidity, the nice, smooth little flavor with it when it's mixed well with shellfish and light pastas. I just love this wine. I could have it bubbly in the champagne, and I could just have it just the way it is, nice and chilled, with a nice slice of brie and a cracker and a little salami. It was just made sense. It was something I had never tried before. I was thinking I would do a little twist on it. I'm gonna add hibiscus, the hibiscus flower, which we did, and we let it settle for about 3 days in the rosé. And here we have a hibiscus rosé. It was just like something I wanted to do. I just said, you know what, I have to have it. I have to have a rosé, and let's put a twist on it because she is extraordinary. What do you think about when you go get dolled up, or maybe you just want to go out with your girls or go on a date with your guy? You just want to get cute, you want to get sexy, you want to get extraordinary. That's my style. That's my spunk. My earrings, my nail colors, my jewelry. It's always handmade. That's the thing that I like to do. I like to support small businesses, handmade jewelry, and I'm extraordinary in this sense. So I looked at it like, me, I'm extraordinary. Let's do something different. Add hibiscus. Let's do a hibiscus rosé.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Looking to be in the know about Dracaena wines? Want to be the first to know about our new releases and special offers? All you need to do is sign up for our newsletter. There is no commitment necessary, and I promise you we won't spam your mailbox with loads of messages. Need another reason to sign up? Quite possibly the best reason? You'll immediately get a discount code for 10% off your first purchase and be privy to newsletter-only discounts. Let Dracaena Wines turn your moments into great memories. Visit our website, www.dracaenawines.com, or use the link in show notes to sign up. It will take you less than a minute, but the rewards will last a lifetime. All right. Well, with that, let's open it and let's give this a try.
Okay.
So I have to honestly say I have never had a rosé with natural hibiscus in it. So it is definitely unique. And why did you choose hibiscus?
I just felt like, well, first off, it was already there, provided for us. And as I was walking around doing the tour, I said, you already have a hibiscus? I love hibiscus tea. Let's put it in the rosé.
All right. And now tell us, because you guys have a winemaker. So tell us about your winemaker. What made you, you have to get along with the winemaker. You have to have that same vision. That winemaker has to be able to understand what you want. So tell us about your winemaker and, how you realized this was who you wanted to work with.
So we actually went up. So after, our trip to Napa, we actually went out to Paso several times, and we met with a couple different winemakers. And when we stumbled across Specific Wine Services, it was just like, we knew at that moment this is the place to be. We were fortunate to meet Moran at that time. Again, she's a woman. She told us so much. So again, we were moms, and it was like I took wine one-on-one in like a couple days. So she was just amazing. And the fact that she was able, to break down every grape, we were able to try different things. We were able to walk through the vineyards, and it was just so it was like an aha moment, and so we were able to also sample some of the other wines that were produced out of their vineyard. And so we kind of had an idea, and it was like the most, of course, it was like an amazing taste, and the wines were great. And it was a lot different from some of the other places that we went to. Yeah. And we love it there, and we will, until we get our own winery, we will.
Oh,
so then that the next question. But yeah, we met with our winemaker, Brandon, and we just discussed some of the things that we wanted to make, a Merlot and a rosé. And fortunately, they had already had the grapes, and it was perfect for us. They understood our vision. They understood our brand.
Okay.
Yes.
So Brandon is not our winemaker. We're the winemakers. And then we do have a consultant, and our fruit does not come from PWS. We have contracts with different vineyards. PWS work, for us, it's an alternating proprietorship. So we hold our own O2 license in there. I love Marin. I think she is incredible. And her, in fact, her Viognier, I think, won best of class at the
Yes,
Orange County. So she's incredible. And Brandon is always very easy to talk to. And, I think it's a well-run facility, obviously, or we wouldn't be there. But it's always interesting to hear, how much input did you have, or is your goal to become winemakers? Or is your goal always to have a winemaker and you be the vintners?
Well, we are actually, we've been searching in the area. We did talk to a couple real estate agents when we were there. So we definitely want to create our own vineyard and be able to produce our own grapes and sort of manufacture everything ourselves, but it'll come over time.
Yeah.
So right now we're taking baby steps. We're starting here, but we are in the process. So I'm assuming by the end of next year, we will have purchased something out there in Paso. So it will no longer be Paso Robles. We will be Paso Roble, right? As the local says, right? Paso Roble is what they call it. Yeah.
Paso.
Yes. Paso, yes. Paso. Yeah. So that's our goal there. And we just want to just dig deeper. And as we learn, from them, from PWS, and just go through the whole process, we want to eventually do it ourselves. So.
Wow. Well, kudos to you, because that is a heck of an endeavor to go, to decide, all right, we're going to start a wine brand. That's in its own self, a kudos to start your own wine brand. But then to want to take on the winemaking is another step. But then again, to want to be vineyard owners and grow your own fruit. As I'll never say never, but our philosophy is we don't want the vines. We want to continue to always source our fruit, because we want to focus in on the winemaking and be that. And I don't want to worry about what's going on under the soil. I need to know what's going on under the soil.
That is a lot.
And we do. But we rely on our vineyard owners to really know what's going on within the soils so that we get the best fruit that's possible. So that is incredible that that's what you want. Like, we don't, again, never say never. Dresita Wine's vision at the moment is not a winery. We don't want a winery facility where we have all of our own equipment, where we have our own bottling line, where we are growing our own fruit. Like, we're not looking for that. We own property, and there may be fruit on the property that we throw in so that we can just say an estate. But we are talking like vines. We're not talking acreage at all. So kudos to you. That's a phenomenal.
Right, Jen?
Correct.
Because Jen will have you working 12 jobs, okay? This one is a workaholic. You gotta love her. But Lord have mercy, Jen. I love to correct myself on something. The Grenache grapes that was made to make the rosé was sourced in AVA around Paso Robles, and our Merlot was grounded and produced on site for PWS.
Oh, okay. Okay. So let's go into this rosé that I am now sipping on. So it is it's kind of a coppery red hue, coppery, ruby color hue. It's nice and translucent. It is got aromas. The hibiscus is there, but it's not. I have to honestly say, I was a little worried about that it was going to be
Too strong.
Right.
Yes. It just is added to the floral. Yeah, it's just adding to the floral essence of it.
Didn't overpower. Yeah, we were afraid at first. Maybe it might be overpowering.
We thought it would be tart, but it
turned out pretty well.
So
it's
now,
a honeysuckle.
go ahead.
It's a honeysuckle floral scent and taste.
And so now, how long did it sit on the skins? Because this is pretty dark for a Grenache. So I'm assuming that it's also hibiscus. It's pulled in some of the color from the hibiscus, I'm guessing.
It did. The
you know.
hibiscus added more tint to it. So it was a couple shades lighter, and the hibiscus sort of like tinted it a little bit to make it have that deep red. It's not quite like our Merlot, but it's still, yes.
So in this winemaking process, I don't know if you can answer this question. You you allowed it to sit on the skins. Do you know how long it sat on the skins?
Yes, I do. From there, it went straight to press though. So let me see right now.
We're pulling it. We have our information here.
You have notes everywhere. Okay, so they were harvested in the ending of 2020, September last year.
So it's 3
Okay.
days.
No, 3 days was for the when we added the hibiscus. It's set for 3 days with the hibiscus for 3 days. But it was harvested on the 10th of September last year, and it went direct press after that. So I'm not exactly sure as far as that, how long, but it soaks for 3 days. And let's say we bottled in July of this year. So if you do that math,
So maybe we'll skip this question.
Okay, that's fine. So
about
I'm
6 to 7 months. About
Just
6
in
to 7
case.
months, and it went straight to press after the Grenache grapes skin. We used that for the color, and the hibiscus was added for 3 days. So give or take.
So it sat in tank for 3 days with hibiscus. So you did a press, it sat on skins for a few days, and then sat on further with hibiscus. And I gotta say, my eyes are getting worse, or I'm not really sure. Is this 13.5%?
It is.
Yeah,
Okay, 13.5% alcohol.
So pretty good, right?
13.
Gotta love Paso.
Yeah, it is.
Higher alcohol content.
Right. So
Remember?
it's a fuller bodied rosé. It's kind of, it coats the tongue a bit, and it does, and it's a little I would say it's a little off dry. It's not a sweet rosé, but it's got a little hint of the sweetness to it, but very well made. I mean, congratulations on your first vintage.
I love it. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Lori.
So how much did you produce?
Oh my God. We
Wow.
have 516 far as gallons.
No, cases.
Okay,
Cases.
516 cases of the same exact for the Merlot and the
the
Rosé. But we did end up adding about 260 extra gallons toward the end because we know, we want to keep that hibiscus rosé, so we end up adding that at the end.
Wait, I'm a little confused. So you produced 1,000 cases, 516 rosé.
Yes, and we had extra. We were just
Exactly.
going to kind of have it sit a little longer, but we ended up bottling everything. So we have about
Oh, okay.
She brought about a little bit over 1,000
Yeah.
cases between them both.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And how are you finding selling this?
So we
What's-
actually
what our plan is,
we
yeah.
contracted through a couple private venues. So we have some local venues out here, and we've connected with someone on the East Coast that is now going to market and sort of, I guess, sell our wine out there. And then the other wine will be sold when we do. We plan on going out after our launch. We'll be going to different states every month, and we'll have bottles there for the other women to purchase.
Oh, how wonderful.
So
Yes.
we have one secured right now that I want to give a shout out to, Raquel's Jazz Lounge in Rialto, California. It's a Black-owned jazz lounge that was our first customers, and we're going to go ahead and continue on getting private contracts, and then we're going to launch. And our goal is to launch by Cyber Monday, online sales to individuals.
Right.
Okay. And how are you dealing with the state regulations?
Well, we literally are going through it right now. We just received our, what was that? We just got approved for our TTB with the label. And I guess our next step is working on the licensing, which we are with our wine consultant.
Mhm.
Good. Excellent. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. I mean, that is fantastic. I'm so excited that we have met you, have met you, and to be able to talk to somebody who has so much passion and so much drive with a vision that they want to get to. So I do not have with me the Merlot, but I have it in the cellar. So let's talk about that Merlot.
Okay. Yes, you have that one.
My favorite. So I'm more of the Merlot.
I love that.
I like more of the dry, but the Merlot is amazing, in my opinion. I was more of a Cabernet person. So for all the cab lovers out there, this Merlot is simply just amazing. And so Tab can read that portion. But what questions do you have about the Merlot?
Well, tell me, you said that you chose Merlot because PWS had some going, had some additional fruit, but just what was your process of going through it? Like, how are you liking it now? Are you, October, I don't know if you know or not, October is Merlot me month. So you've got a lot of promotions, easy promotions going on if you'd like to do that. But so just what about Merlot rang to just because they have the fruit doesn't mean it rang to you. So what made you decide, this is what I want?
Well, it was that we tried. Well, when we chose, so as they were going through the entire process and we were picking different things, I think that this Merlot actually, I've tried a lot of Merlots, and I feel like our particular Merlot is just the way that the flavors were. So it's kind of like an in-between or a cross almost between, if that makes sense, between like a Merlot and more for like you cab lovers. You would it's amazing. It's easy on your palate. It's smooth. We aerated some before today here at the restaurant, and it's just, it's an amazing thing. And so Tab can give you a little background on the Merlot as far as like the age of it.
18 months aged in the oak barrels.
Okay.
So it's soft, it's velvety, it's silky, hints of undertones of vanilla. It was just, it was something I never really had before. My go-to is maybe a Riesling, rosé, and a cab. And when we seen how much we had for ready to produce and bottle it, and we tried it, it was just like I said, smooth, easygoing, velvety, smells like vanilla undertones, and it just made sense. We went with it.
Sometimes you just know, right? You taste it, you palate, and you're like, this is good. Right. And that really is kind of what exploring the wine glass is all about. Is like I say, I'll never tell you what to drink. I'll always share what's in my glass because it's your palate. Thank you. It's everybody's palate is different, and I say all of the time, I'm like, if somebody enjoys $2 Chuck, then more power to them, because in all honesty, they're having a stellar time at $2. Well, now I think it's $2.99 a bottle, but at $3 a bottle, you kind of wish you can enjoy a $3 bottle of wine. And there are wines out there. You don't need to spend $100 or, 3 digits to get
wine now. Right. It has nothing to do with the price point. I've learned that it has nothing to do with the price of the bottle. You can get a $5 wine that is really well.
Absolutely. And some of them, I really have no idea how they do it. Some of these imported wines, I don't know. You can get, you go to Ria Spicious and you're getting an incredible Albarino for like $9 a bottle. And that's coming from Spain. How did it even get here for $9 a bottle?
Yeah, how?
No idea. Right.
And just knowing from our end what it costs, what a bottle costs, what label.
The label, everything. Right.
Yeah, I do want to know. That should be on our next, your next podcast. How do they keep the cost down so low? Right.
It is. And then, like I said, they've got to boat it over from, in those cargoes. And that can't be cheap. I mean, I don't know how much that costs, but that cannot be cheap.
At all.
But
maybe their production, I don't know.
I don't know, but I give everybody, if you're happy with a $2 bottle of wine, kudos to you. Keep enjoying that $2 bottle of wine. Right? Absolutely. So now you did say that you're like 3.5 hours. So you're down by LA, right? Are you down in that?
Yes.
You're okay.
Yes,
But
close to Los Angeles, and she's closer to Temecula. So another little
oh,
wine.
okay.
So we sort of meet in the middle, and we try to have we call it our she wine meetings at least once a week, so that way we can stay on track with everything. So we get together. So after this, we'll meet and have our meeting for the week.
Awesome. And is this your typical meeting spot?
We just try to go to different restaurants where we're able. Yeah. So it's a place today.
That's wonderful. So you've got 1,000 cases. What do we have in line for this vintage? What's going on for the 2021 vintage?
So for this vintage, everything will launch in November. And so we're hoping right now, it looks as if we will be able to sort of distribute this out and have good sales from our vintage this year. And then we're starting the process already for next year. So we're excited.
And keeping to that same case production level, amping it up, dropping it down. What do you
We're probably going to amp it up a little bit.
We are definitely going to expand.
Based on the demand. We have one contract that we'll share on our next podcast that we are in negotiations with right now. So hopefully if we do get that contract, we will definitely have to, yes, we will. And we will have to up our production. So we're excited about that one.
That's wonderful. So congratulations, because any winemaker knows making the wine isn't easy. But it's easier to make the wine than it is to sell the wine. So
yes.
So congratulations on that. Congratulations. So my last question is going to be so you decide this is what you're going to do. You're in the backyard and you're screaming because you're so excited. You've got that perfect name and everything. Yes. And where you said you had your whole business plan rolled out. You want to get a winery. You want to have vineyards. What are you planting? Where do you see She Wines going in the future? How many SKUs do you want to have? Where are you seeing yourself?
We actually see ourselves sort of not necessarily going commercial, but we definitely see ourselves in a larger market than what we're in now. We see ourselves opening up of course, a tasting room and a winery in Napa. And we want to do something on the East Coast. And of course, something local to us here in Temecula, just so that we were able to at least have like a tasting room and do different things. But we definitely want to expand, and we want to jump into different markets with women. So we're sort of starting not necessarily like a coalition, but just sort of getting women together like in a sisterhood. And we want to do something every month with them, whether they can join in virtually because of everything that's going on, or if they're able to attend in whichever state that we're in. So, and it'll launch in November. So that's about all we could say about it, but it's really exciting and it's really good. And I'm hoping that people will look us up on our website what is our website tab?
she-wines.com.
And so right now it's more of a landing page, but at the end, mid-October, you'll be able to see everything. You'll see the events that we have planned. You'll be able to come out, support us, fellowship with other women, and we look forward to meeting you. And Lori, we're definitely going to invite you out to one that'll be kind of local.
Thank you.
We want to really focus on coming together one story at a time, one glass at a time, whether it's something a testimony, something you overcame, something you survived. She is a phenomenal person to just sit there and talk about your story over a glass of wine. That's what we do every day as women. We gather together. It's a male-dominated and race-dominated business. So we're just looking to change that. We just want to be a bridge to the next winemakers and private wine label makers. We just want to be able to inspire the next generation with She Wines. And I am a chef, so we figured we'll do some cooking classes in there.
There you go.
pairing in there and just kind of orchestrate it. Like I said, some things will be live, some things will be virtual, but we are looking to just change this game.
Yes.
That is wonderful. That is
so much for
wonderful.
having us on your show today, Lori.
Thank you for
amazing.
coming.
We enjoyed it, and I'm so happy that we were able to come on together and drink we have Merlot today, but you were able to have our rosé, so we're very, very excited. And
So
thank you so much.
I always say Sláinte, which is basically cheers in Gaelic,
Yes.
okay, Irish
Good
Gaelic.
Yes.
So-
I agree. Yes.
Sláinte.
That is health. I
Yes.
love that.
So thank you very much. And are you guys on social media yet?
So our social media will also fully launch in October. We sort of have someone kind of helping us out. And so everything will, October, look for She Wines and you'll see us all over the internet at that point.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, congratulations. And I wish you both the very best and all of the success. And I'm so happy to hear that your contracts are coming through already. That is wonderful news. And there's only so many bottling days. So my guess is we will run into each other again in Paso, and let us know when you come back to Paso. We can,
We'll be
hopefully
there in
meet up.
November.
Yes. And we'll
Yeah.
definitely meet up maybe for dinner and some wine.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Lori.
So thank you. Enjoy.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
This has been another episode of Exploring the Wine Glass. Thanks for listening. If you have suggestions on what topics you would like me to discuss, please reach out on social media. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Exploring the Wine Glass. I am also on LinkedIn as Lori Hoypud. Of course, you can always email me at exploringthewineglass@gmail.com. If you enjoyed what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find me more easily. And most importantly, tell your wine-loving friends, because if you like the podcast, they will too. Music is Wine by Kevens. Until next week, Sláinte.